So, hello there, and welcome back to another Night of the Movies podcast. I'm Spike Knight, and in these podcasts, I love talking all things movies and TV, and whatever I want, or whenever I want. And in today's podcast, I'm reviewing Death of a Unicorn. So, let's get into it, shall we? Death of a Unicorn is his new A24 film starring Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, Will Poulter, with Tia Leone, I might be mispronouncing her name and apologies if I am, and Richard E. Grant. So, quite a good cast. And I was kind of looking forward to seeing this film because I really liked the trailers. I thought the concept was fun. Having a sort of werewolf movie but with a unicorn sounded like a great idea. And similar to my viewing experience with Novocaine, which I watched last week, I was going to the cinema yesterday just hoping to have a good time with this film. Not expecting much more because I know the reviews haven't been great, but I was hoping to have a good time nonetheless. And the Google plot synopsis for the film goes as follows. When a man, played by Paul Rudd, and his daughter, played by Jenna Ortega, accidentally hit and kill a unicorn with their car, his boss tries to exploit the creature's miraculous creative properties with horrific results. And that's pretty much all I need to know about this film before seeing it. And honestly, this film wasn't for me. It was rubbish in my opinion. The first 15 minutes were okay. I was watching the first 15 minutes of the film thinking, I kind of like what's happening. I'm not that engaged, but I don't mind this. It's not a bad watch. And then you meet this group of really unlikable characters. They're all painfully unfunny, and yet you are stuck with these characters for what feels like 2 hours and a half. I mean, it isn't actually 2 hours and a half. How long is the film? The film it's 1 hour and 48 minutes. I was watching this in the cinema thinking this film was about 2 hours and a half because it was that painful to watch. Oh god, this film was bad. It was so bad, and I was hoping to have a good time with it, but I was sat there watching this film thinking, do I not understand what's going on because the film is too confusing and too incohesive, or do I not understand what's going on because I don't care? And either way, my answer isn't a good one when it comes to this film. All the performances are fine, but no one's given that much to work with because the idea is a sort of idea which is probably good for like a short film. In fact, you know what? This idea would be good for a Black Mirror episode. That's what it'd be good for. But if it was made into a Black Mirror episode, the chances are it would probably be a bad Black Mirror episode. You know, some Black Mirror episodes are absolutely amazing, and then you get some Black Mirror episodes which you get to the end of and you just think, well, that was a colossal waste of time. And you know what? That's what I felt at the end. That's what the first thought that came to my mind when I finished this film. That was a colossal waste of my time because the idea does not extend for full-length feature film. I got to about halfway through the film and I was thinking, God, there can't be that much long left. There can't be that much longer left. We've been going for ages. And then the film went on even longer and it just went on and 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 on. And actually the film's not that long, but it felt long. And all the characters were agonizingly annoying to watch. I didn't like any of them. Even Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, who I've enjoyed watching in the films they've been in. Even like Richard E. Grant, Will Poulter. This film's got a great cast, but none of them are enjoyable to watch because their characters aren't well written. The entire time when I was watching this film, I just felt like I was watching Paul Rudd Jenna Ortega play the sort of Wednesday type character she's constantly being cast as now because Wednesday, the TV show on Netflix, was such a success. So now, after her success in that show, she keeps getting cast as that sort of character. So I was watching this going, okay, yeah, this is another variation of her performance as Wednesday, whatever. And I was watching Richard E. Grant thinking, I just don't see anyone but Richard E. Grant. And I didn't like that it made for the characters. Even Will Poulter, I didn't think was particularly that good in the film. They all became more annoying as the film went on. And then there's all these weird twists in the film that never really made any sense to me. And the CGI with unicorns is atrocious. It's atrocious. I don't have a clue who okayed the CGI with the unicorns in this film. Like, I know this film didn't have a big budget, but neither did Godzilla Minus One. I don't know why I'm comparing this film to Godzilla Minus One, and I kind of feel bad for Godzilla Minus One that I'm comparing this film to that film. But with Godzilla Minus One, that film had a much smaller budget, and I'm not saying the visual effects were perfect in Godzilla Minus One, but they were miles better than the visual effects in this movie. God, the VFX with the unicorns looked like they were done by an amateur VFX artist on a Sunday afternoon when he was eating a sandwich at the same time. It did not feel like they were well thought through, and it felt like the VFX artists were sleeping on the job. And I hate to say that because I know there's been a lot of stuff, a lot of reports about how difficult it is for VFX artists to work in Hollywood nowadays. But, God, when the VFX artists, when the VFX that are meant to bring the unicorns to life are not believable, I just can't buy into any of the film. Every single time I look at the unicorns, okay, I keep spoiling it by saying unicorn. There's more than one unicorn in this film, but that's not really a big spoiler because that's kind of revealed in the trailers. But anyway, every single time I saw the unicorns in this film, I just didn't care about them. I didn't believe in them, and that made for quite an unengaging watch because the whole unicorn aspect of the film is quite a big element in the film, but I didn't buy into it at all. And the film feels completely unnecessary. I don't understand why it exists. It's not that well made. I think it's actually kind of badly produced because there were a lot of moments in the film where I couldn't really see what was going on. And I was watching this in a cinema where all the lights were off and everything, you know, like they usually are in a cinema. I was watching this in a cinema, and there were times I wanted to shout to the filmmakers, can you please turn the lights on in this room because I can barely see what's going on, and I'm in the cinema watching this film. It isn't like I'm watching it in the comfort of my own home with the sun shining through the curtains and I can barely see what's going on screen. No, I just couldn't see what was going on. This film has an obsession with lighting everything in this dark way, and because of that I just couldn't see so much of the film. So yeah, I didn't think it was that well produced. I thought it was badly written. It felt like an idea which a couple of movie executives came up with, or a couple of movie writers came up with and thought, you know, that's going to make a really fun movie, but didn't really think past that. And so it felt like they rewrote quite a lot of the script when they were making the movie. I don't know if they did, by the way, but it felt like in production of the film, when they were doing principal photography, when they were shooting this film, they rewrote a lot of the film to try and add heart into the relationship between Paul Wood and Jenna Ortega's characters, trying to this like father-daughter relationship aspect to the film, which didn't work though, and doesn't feel earned. You know, the thing is, when you have the whole father-daughter aspect of a film, you've got to make it feel earned, and none of the father-daughter aspect of the film felt earned, and that was a big disappointment. And so much of this film was just disappointing because I went into it hoping to have a good time. You know, it's being billed as this horror comedy, but I didn't find any of it scary. There were a couple of jump scares, but even the jump scares didn't work for me. So yeah, I didn't find any of the film scary, and I didn't find any of it funny. I didn't laugh once. There were one or two sniggers in my cinema, but no one was laughing out loud, and yet there were moments in the film where it felt like characters were pausing after saying a line because they were expecting the audience to laugh in the cinema. But it was one of those moments when I was sat in the cinema thinking, oh god, I really hate watching comedies in the cinema because it gets so awkward when a line just doesn't get a laugh. And there's so many lines in this movie which did not get a laugh. And at the end of the day, this film wants to be Jurassic Park with unicorns. That's what it wants to be. There's quite a few sequences. Actually, there's one sequence in particular which reminded me of the famous kitchen scene with the raptors and the two kids from Jurassic Park. It's not near as good as that scene, but it's evoking that scene, you know? But it's not Jurassic Park with unicorns, because Jurassic Park was well made. It was suspenseful. Jurassic Park is aged beautifully. The VFX in that film look better than so much of the visual effects you get in films nowadays. And Jurassic Park came out in 1993. Yet this movie has come out in 2025. And the visual effects look like the sort of visual effects you'd expect in a movie from the early 2000s. And not in a good way. They look like the visual effects out of a computer game, in all honesty. And this film has no suspense to it. It's not scary. It's not funny. The characters are all agonisingly painful to watch. None of them are fun to watch. And the whole film just feels like one big misfire and one big wasted opportunity. They had the opportunity to do something that was fun with this film, but I didn't even find it fun because it felt like they were just, I don't even know what it felt like at the end of the day. It felt like they wanted to make Jurassic Park with unicorns, but failed miserably, at least in my opinion. If you enjoyed this film, that's great. I don't want to take anything away from you. And similar to The Monkey, the Osgood Perkins film, which I reviewed about a month or so ago now, I can see it's becoming a cult classic in the future, which there are screenings of and people go and attend and absolutely love the film. But for me, I thought it was just rubbish. I thought it would have been better as a Black Mirror episode. And if it was a Black Mirror episode, though, it would have been a bad Black Mirror episode at that. Yeah. The film wasn't for me. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Death of a Unicorn, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10 because I admired its originality. There's so many films nowadays which are unoriginal, are just remakes, reboots. I'm not saying all films nowadays are remakes, reboots, and sequels. I think of an idiot if you think that. Just look at the sort of films being released. There's plenty of films released nowadays which aren't sequels, reboots, or remakes, or whatever. And this is one of them. So I do admire its originality, particularly nowadays where you get so much out there which isn't original. But originality doesn't save a film for me. It's got to be good. It's got to be well written. It's got to be tight. It's got to be well directed. It's got to have good characters in there. Even characters which, are unlikable but are fun to watch. I reviewed White Lotus Season 3 the other day, and most of the characters in White Lotus Season 3 are horrible characters. But you still enjoy watching them. And in this film, you're watching the main characters, and you don't enjoy watching them at all. It feels like most of the actors are there for a paycheck. And the whole unicorn aspect felt like it was maybe a good idea on paper, but it is not executed well. And the visual effects just makes the film unbelievable, and not in a good way at all. I did not buy into any of it, and I found this film to be a very unengaging viewing experience. Again, if you enjoyed it, I don't want to take that away from you, and I admired its originality. And the performances aren't bad. I didn't hate any of the performances in this film, but it should have been so much better. It's a really big missed opportunity. It's a really big wasted opportunity. That's what it is. So there you go. All in all, as what he said, as I'm going to say once more in this podcast today, Death of a Unicorn is a 2 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, that's it for today's podcast. If you have seen Death of a Unicorn, please let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching or listening to this podcast. And if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like and subscribe on this video. And look forward to many more videos and many more podcasts coming very, very soon on this channel. As I've already said, thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast, and I will see you guys again soon. But bye for now. Bye.